Okay, so we now should have a good understanding of what radian measure actually means, and we're going to see some further applications of how we can use it. So the unit circle is basically a circle, as the name suggests, which is of which has a radius of 1 unit, and its center is at the origin 0, 0. So here we have the unit circle depicted, and we can see that we have the origin, the center at the origin, and it has a radius of 1 unit. Now, something that is well known is that the equation of the unit circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. Why? Well, you may have looked at equations of circles in the past, so just a reminder when we're looking at the equation of the circle. So here I've got a bit of a simulation at the moment. I have my center at the origin and my radius is 1 unit. So you can see that the formula is being shown as x squared plus y squared is equal to 1 squared. What happens if I change the radius? So now I've changed the radius of the circle to be 2 units, and you can see how that affects the equation of the circle. What if I was to make it 3 units, and so on? So you can see that by increasing the radius, we increase the value on the right-hand side of the equation. I'll just get it back to 1 unit. Now, what will affect the x term and the y term? Well, depending on where I put the center of the circle. So now I've moved the center up 1 position and I haven't changed the x coordinate, but you can see now it's y minus 1. Or if I move the y position 2 positions, then it would be y minus 2. You can see by doing this and leaving that point in the same place, I'm increasing the radius, and that's why that part is changing. What if I was to make this a negative value? So if I put it down here, you can see now it becomes a plus 1 and a plus 2. And if we come back to the center, how does changing the x coordinates affect it? So if I go in the negative direction, you can see that this is a plus. So if I drag it in the other direction, now the center of the circle changes to the coordinate x is equal to 1, and I can continue to move it until the radius is 1 unit, and then that value will become x minus 1. That gives you a better understanding of how we might come up with an equation for a circle. So I'll just get it back to the unit circle where we have the center, which is at the origin, and we have radius of 1 unit. Now, when measuring angles, there's a convention that we use. We always measure our angles from the positive x-axis. So where my cursor is being shown at the moment is considered to be 0 degrees. You think that whenever we move in a counterclockwise or anti-clockwise direction, those are the positive angles. And if we move in the opposite direction, so a clockwise direction, these are all the negative angles. So you can see that they've shown an example here. So for this angle, you can see that we could consider it from the positive direction. So if that's 30 degrees and we start here and we come around, that's going to be 180 plus 30, which gives me 210, or if we were to degrees, or if we were to write it in radians, it could be 7 pi over 6 radians, and we should be familiar with how to do those conversions from last week. Or if we wanted to come from the negative direction, so now you can see for thigh, they come around in the negative way. So it's 180 minus 30. You can see that it's going to be minus 150 degrees. So both are correct. You can measure either in the positive direction or the negative direction, but it's just something to be aware of that we always measure from this x-axis and we come around either counterclockwise for the positive direction or clockwise